in the moonlight wherever.
She's my sister, one of my closest friend. Also, she's the one that has been doing a lot of, well, my latest 2 cover albums. I think that she's an amazing artist all the way through. She's an amazing visual artist and also an amazing singer and composer. So, yeah, it's a beautiful album. That was the first Sonny Rollins album that I heard. I was like around 12, something like that, and I heard Sonny Rollins sound. Back then I used to play alto for many years, and when I heard this for the first time, I could really connect with the way that he played, the way that he expressed himself. I was part of this band around 4 years ago. Actually, we did our first concert in Paris at the Philharmonic. We recorded an album as well where everyone wrote a tune specifically for the album. Artemis was a really wonderful experience for me. I learned a lot from being with elder musicians, females, and people that I admire since I was very young. Lionel, Hampton, and Stan Getz. Actually, Lionel Hampton, as well as Stan Getz, but not as strong, was a huge influence on me. As a saxophone player, it was really interesting to transcribe him, and also the kind of line that he plays by that time of period is extremely modern, the same as Stan Getz. I'm not as super familiar with his playing, but I have checked him out, and one of the things I really love about actually this album and his way of playing is a sense of freedom and liberation in each one of the notes that he's playing. I know these albums really well. Mark is one of the biggest influences I had. I studied him around for 4 years, and I think it's one of the strongest influence. And this trio specifically was a huge influence when I started playing saxophone trio. I love their compositions and the way that they play together, and I definitely think that they have shaped the way that saxophone trio setting is being played these past few years. I find him such an interesting player because he's before the bebop era, sort of, and the kind of language that he's playing is extremely modern. The context is just old, but as I have studied a lot of him and also his lineage, where Benny Golso comes from as well, I think that he's one of the biggest influences and the strongest jazz musicians from that time. Danilo Pérez, I haven't heard this album, but I know Danilo for many years. I met him in Chile. He went there to play with Wayne Shorter, and he has been somebody that helped a lot of young musicians. But aside from that, musically he's always been a huge inspiration. I love the way that he's mixing folkloric music from Panama and from different places with jazz. This is with Ron Carter and Al Foster. This is one of the strongest influences I have, actually. And I remember the first tune that I heard from this album was called Ask Me Now by Thelonious Monk. And he's definitely one of the first influences that I have when it comes to playing solo saxophone. And it's definitely a must-hear album for all the younger generations. Yeah, that is my album, 12 Stars. Was released like a month ago. The cover was made by Cécile, McLorin Salvant, and as you can see, it has an avocado on it, and that really shows how much she knows me. I'm crazy about avocados, and avocado is like a huge part of the Chilean culture. But yeah, I had a really fun experience recording that album with an incredible band and James Farber as well. So it was really cool.